Hi, welcome to practice budgeting. This has to be done before you do your full budget. And again, if you kind of just follow along, you'll be able to be really successful. Now, the cost of children, you do not need to keep in your packet. So you can, if it helps to get rid of some of that paper, you may, once you've done that first sheet, like we've done in the previous video, then you can just get rid of it. So again, this is asking for line E. So remember, those are the ones in the last video that I circled. So I have 37,774. Let me make sure I've got my tool of pencil. Okay, so I have 37,774, and then 45, 860. Okay, so this is what I get to spend and work on my budget. Now, this is a practice. The first time you are just picking a number, and then you will be able to, after, this is going to help you figure out how much you can afford. Okay, so we give you averages, and then we give you what economists suggest. You may pick anything in here. So for this one, I'm going to pick 20% for both the jobs. All right, so we've got two lines because we have job 1 and we have job 2. Okay, so now what do we do? Okay, well, we need our calculator. Okay, and so for job 1, I need to find out what 20% of job 1 is. So I'm going to put in the 37,774, and I'm going to multiply that. I'm going to multiply that by 0.2, because with percentages, when you were trying to calculate them, it's 0.2. All right, so 0.2 equals, and again, we don't need to worry about the change. So this is 7,554.80. So I'm just going to put 7,555. Okay, that's how much I'm spending a year on my house if I spent 20% of my income. Now, I need to find out, so 7,555 divided by, I'm going to divide this by 12. Okay, so 12. Okay, so it's about 600, I can afford, without being married, I could afford about $629 per month for rent. Now, because I'm married in my future life, I'm married now too, but anyway, so 629, I'm going to multiply that by 2, okay, so I can afford to pay with my married person, because we both can kind of split it. I can afford $1,258. So that's anywhere, like probably about a $200,000 to a $250,000 home I would be able to afford. All right, so now I want to do 20% of my second job. So I will put in 45860 times 0.2 equals, okay, so this is 9,172. Okay, I'm going to divide that by 12. Okay, so that's about 764. Okay, and then I can also multiply 764 times 2 because I'm married. So then that gives me about 15 to 8. So that's about a I could afford about a $300,000 to $350,000 home. Okay, so that's the practice for the house. Now what happens is that you have to find an actual house. Okay, what you can do is, the easiest thing is to go to realtor.com. This is to buy a home. You can also look for an apartment, which I think it's like rent.com or whatever, but it's more fun to kind of own. So I'm going to look around in where I live currently, Chelsea, Michigan. Okay, oops. And I need a house that's probably about, ooh, those are some nice houses in Chelsea. All right, so we need to change some of the, okay, so I am going to put, so if I can, maybe 150,000 to 225. Okay, I'm going to update that. All right, so I want to look, okay, and when I find my house, all right, so this is a really cute little house. All right, so I'm going to go open to this one. All right, and let's see, I want to estimate my monthly payment. Now when you do that, you want to move this all the way down, even though, because you really aren't, for this, you won't be putting much down. Okay, so that's $1,000 a month. Now I go back to my practice, and that falls within what I can afford. So this house will be good. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. All right, so then what I need to do is I need to find where it says to print. So here it says print, okay? So I'm going to print. All right, so I'm going to print. All right, so this is my job one house. Okay, and I'm going to put it in my, let's see, in my junior project folder. Okay, so I save that. So now I have this, because this will have to be printed and put out in the house. Now here it changed the amount to $826, but it's probably best you won't, because you need to be within 5% of your budget of what you practiced. So we're going to go ahead and keep that 1,000, that the original amount. I don't know why it went down. You can just cross that off and put 1,000 because that's what it told us. Okay, so let's see. I have my okay. So now my monthly house payment is $1,000. Okay, and it's plus 10%. Okay, so 10% of 1,000, 1,000 times 0.1 is 100. So the payment is $1,100. Okay, so if I was renting, I would put my rent plus 15. It's $1,100 for job one. Okay, now I'm going to take that $1,100 and I'm going to divide it by 2 because again my my husband will pay for half. Divided. Oh, all right, we got to get okay. So 1,100 divided by 2 equals 550. Okay, so that's what I pay a month. All right, and then I'm going to times this by 12, 550, to give me my yearly amount. So 6,600. Is it 60? Oh no, 6,600. Okay. Now I need to take this 6,660, and I'm going to divide it by my ATI. Okay, so we gotta Okay, so my monthly payment is my yearly payment is 6,600, and I divide it by 37,774. Okay, and that's going to give me a percentage. Okay, so it's 17%. So my actual house is 17% of my income. Now, it is within, we want you to be within 5% of your chosen. So that works. Okay, so that house is okay. All right, you're going to do the same thing. Go back to you're going to go back and pick a second house. Okay. So maybe because I can afford more, I'm going to put 250 to 350 and see what my search goes. Oh, sorry. Ooh, this is nice. All All right, so let's look at this house. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. All right, so $1,570 a month. If I look at my budget, I could afford $1,528. So question is so if I put, okay, so let's see. So 15, what was the 70? Oh, come on. Okay, so we need to find out what 10% of 1,570 is. Ooh, must have not cleared out something. 1,570 times 0.1 equals 157, and then I add plus 1,570 equals, so 1,727. Okay. So now the question is can I afford that? So if I put in here 1727, okay, and I divide that by 2 because of my being married, so 864. Okay, I multiply 864 times 12. 10, 3, oops. Right, 10,368, yep. Okay, so now I'm going to take that 10,368 and I need to divide it by the ATI. Oops, just like that. Look at that house for a minute. All right, so divide this by 45860. All right, and that's 22%. So again, I'm still within, I was at 20, so I can, 22% is okay. I mean, still within. Now the thing about doing, so then again, I'm going to print this. Let's see if I can. All right, job 2 house. And just a tip, you can always print things when you print them, choose Adobe PDF and make PDF files of everything that you're printing, just so that if by chance you were to lose or something happened to your project, you could just easily reprint it. So that's just a suggestion, my tip for the day. Okay, so if we go back to the budget example, we are done. We have printed both houses. Okay, so we have job 1 house and job 2 house. Now again, this is $1,297. For this one, because you could even just highlight that and use that number. But again, I've used the 1,570, so I may cross that off and just use the numbers I have. So it's just kind of, you've got a little bit of a choice here. Okay, so anyways, but make sure you're highlighting the per month. Okay, on there, because that's part of, you'll see that on the rubric. So anyhow, so we have our 2 houses. We have done the numbers. We have calculated how much house insurance is. And so we have now spent our first part of our money. And that's how you find a house.